Yavapai Broadcasting and the City of Cottonwood proudly present Inside Cottonwood, an inside look at the decisions and issues of the City of Cottonwood. Brought to you by Arizona Smile Designers. Here's Cottonwood City Manager Doug Bartosh.
Welcome to Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host, Doug Bartosh, and also your city manager. And I'm here today with James Perry, who's the Dean of Yavapai College, the Verde Valley campus. And I wanted to get James in here because there's just a lot of exciting things going on with the Verde campus. And people around the Verde Valley and around Yavapai County need to really hear about it. So I know you guys did a big renovation this year, James, and talk a little bit about that and what you see coming up.
You bet. So, again, one of the things that we want to do in offering quality education is make sure that the facilities that we have are conducive to doing that. And really, when you look at the investment that Yavapai College has made to the community, especially the Verde campus, to the tune of $17.4 million, it's really phenomenal. That number one, we were able to do that, and number two, just the renovation that took place in the campus in a very short amount of time. As far as renovations specifically go, update in facilities and building usage. We've got a brand new student union and food service facility with a fantastic art gallery, and we've got art openings monthly, really, that happens. So if you're interested in that, we'll have to get that information out. But along with that was kind of centralization of faculty offices. Prior to the renovations, all of the faculty were spread out throughout the campus, and really, when you want to create a culture of education and a culture that's conducive to education, it's trying to have people housed in the right places. And we were able to do that in Building M, which on the bottom floor we expanded the library and the learning center, and then upstairs all faculty offices. So if students have questions, they can hit multiple instructors at one time. So that was really important for us. Additional renovations, technology in the classrooms. You've got state-of-the-art delivery for multiple modalities, whether it be online, ITV, or even straight lecture. So some really fantastic things that happened. The last kind of leg of the renovations is the landscaping, which everything should start to bloom here pretty quick. So we're excited and we're very proud of the new campus we have. We were closed last summer, which really created a slow start for us in fall. Spring, we've started to bounce back a little bit, and we expect good summer enrollments leading into fall.
And if you haven't seen the campus, it's definitely worthwhile going up there, because I think a lot of what the construction did too is the campus kind of looked like it was a collection of kind of different styles and different buildings, and now it seems like there's more of a theme throughout the campus.
There is, Doug, and it's really got some very nice architecture. And really within the campus plan itself was to try to create some areas for student gathering, which we really didn't have before. As you mentioned, some of the buildings that were previously on campus were built in the early 70s. The college was built around 1975, and those buildings had been there since then, which were only supposed to be temporary and for whatever reason became permanent. So we're very excited about the new campus.
I think a lot of people don't appreciate how important it is for the city and the college to have a real symbiotic relationship, because one of our economic development goals is to create knowledge-based jobs. And if you create knowledge-based jobs, and one way to attract knowledge-based jobs is to make sure you have people who have the knowledge to take those jobs. And I know that the campus has been a big partner with that. And I know one of the areas was the medical field, and I'm sure there's a couple of others that we've talked about as well.
Yeah, you know, one of the interesting things about the philosophy of a community college is in its name itself, community college, serving the needs of the constituents within those municipalities, which really, on this side of the mountain, you've got multiple: Clarkdale, Cottonwood, Sedona, and Camp Verde, and then the surrounding areas. Again, you know, Yavapai has made a huge investment, not only in the onset of developing a campus in 1975 on this, in this community, but again, you know, wanting to help educate a populace, whether it be for transfer to a university or whether it be for direct job or career placement. And again, it's a special relationship between the community colleges that, for the most part, are able to ramp up relatively fast when there seems to be a need. And really, you know, the ideal situation, which we have on the Verde campus, is getting all stakeholders to the table and asking, which is a big push by our president and executive team on economic development, what can Yavapai College do to help you promote economic development within your communities? So, you know, throughout the years, we've had some fantastic partnerships, and really what we see is those continuing to happen.
You know, and I think one of those other partnerships we've seen a lot of benefit from is your partnership with the other schools, like Mingus Union High School. I know you guys have partnered a lot on different programs and getting students ready to kind of proceed with a degree program even before they graduate.
You bet. You know, the research is showing us, Doug, that within the next 10 years, whether it be a bachelor's degree or an associate's degree, some amount of education is going to be needed for you know, high-paying jobs within the United States. And you know, our philosophy is we're open access as far as education goes. And I think what we're trying to do is instill in those secondary students that if you have a dream to go to college, Yavapai College is a fantastic starting place for you. You know, what you've seen in the last 4 years is a huge change in allocation for funding of higher education. So you've seen the costs really be transferred to the taxpayers, go through the roofs for the four-year institutions. You know, what we'd like to see is that, you know, students that are interested in pursuing higher education do their first 2 years with us, which can provide substantial cost savings on the front end. I don't know if you knew this, but student loan debt has just surpassed credit card debt. Wow. So really, when you look at the cost to benefits analysis of going to a community college first, boy, it's there. And you're exactly right, where our intent, and we have a number of programs, whether it be through JTED or dual enrollment, to get those high school students straight transcripted college credit even before they graduate from high school. Because some of them are very ready to go to the next level.
You know, and it's interesting you should bring that up in terms of starting at a community college, because I did that. I mean, I have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, which I got from universities, but I also have an associate's degree that I got through a community college. And when I look back on it, I think that was some of the best education I ever got, because at the community college level, the instructors don't have that pressure to publish or perish. They've got to do research at the university level, they've got to write, where at the community level, they're more focused on education and the students.
You're exactly right, Doug. Our focus is on teaching, number one, where, again, different philosophies with four-year institutions versus the community college. We want to be good at what we do, good at our trade. So again, like you say, the focus is purely on teaching. Now, an interesting note is we are starting to dive into undergraduate research a little bit, because we think that those skills in analyzing, coming up with a hypothesis, testing that hypothesis is relevant to undergraduates. So we're looking at a few areas we're going to start to institute that. But again, the focus with faculty is on teaching and not with the research development.
You know, we're going to go ahead and take our first break, but come back and join us because Yavapai College is a great resource in the whole region, as you indicated, and everybody really needs to learn what's going on up there because it's pretty exciting. So come back and join us. Welcome back to Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host, Doug Bartosh. And I'm here with James Perry from Yavapai College, who's the dean up there. And how long have you been there now?
Dean of the Verde Valley campus, this is my second semester.
So, and you really hit the ground running. But, you know, one of the things that you mentioned was how quickly the community colleges can ramp up to provide offerings that are needed in the community. And I thought that was no more evident than when we began to look at the wine industry as a growing industry here in the Verde Valley. Your predecessor, Tom Schumacher, was involved in all the early discussions and formation of the Verde Valley Wine Consortium. And I was absolutely amazed at how quickly the community college, Yavapai College, got into providing classes, and now you guys have just taken off. Talk a little bit about the Southwest Wine Center, the classes you guys are offering.
You bet. You're exactly right. You know, Tom Shoemaker and multiple stakeholders within the community really had this idea of launching viticulture or doing something within the college on this side of the mountain about 3-4 years ago. And you've got an up-and-coming industry, and really it makes sense if you can get in on the front end of that to kind of help shape and figure out what the industry needs and how can you drive that. Not only from a workforce development, but if there's something we can do in conjunction with the growers or the winery owners to help them in any way we can. And really, so we launched the certificate in viticulture first. And viticulture then is the growing of grapes. And really that made sense because we already had an agribusiness department, and really this is another kind of offshoot from that, but it's its own entity, and instead of being over on Chino Valley, it's housed over here. And really that makes sense because the bulk of the viticulture industry in northern Arizona is on this side of the mountain. You've got multiple wineries and multiple vineyards. So we launched that and to great success. The first couple of classes we offered were with an adjunct by the name of Paula Woosley, who's still teaching our Wines of the World and Wines of the United States. And really, you know, she helped hook those students into what the possibilities are. So we've had great success with the viticulture certificate, and then what we did was we designed an associate's degree which took the viticulture certificate and then added classes in winemaking or enology to that, and then with your gen ed component, which then becomes an associate's degree, which is 63 credit hours. So we're in the first year of offering the full associate's degree, and we just hired David Harris, who is our director of enology, to really kind of complement Nikki Check, who is the director of viticulture. So it's been an exciting process for us, and we're really continuing to grow. So, you know, we've had, I think we had in the certificate about 6 or 7 completers last year, and we expect that number to continue to grow as we grow the program.
You know, and you're probably a good choice as the dean at this point because your education is kind of in agriculture, isn't it?
Correct. I was a high school agriculture educator for a number of years, and then went back and worked for the Department of Ag Education at the University of Arizona. And then prior to the position here on the Verde campus, I oversaw the agribusiness center in Chino Valley. So I've got a pretty in-depth background in agriculture.
You know, and it's interesting, and a lot of people may not realize what the impact the wine industry has had on the Verde Valley. But I mean, essentially, it's several $1 million in paychecks, which repeats itself over and over in the community. It's over 100 jobs have been created. It has actually been a big part of what has put the Verde Valley and Cottonwood in particular on the top 10 list of travel destinations, which is just absolutely amazing. And all of this occurred during an economic downturn. I mean, during the recession, the wine industry continued to grow. And so I think this will continue to be a just enormous economic driver for our community, and obviously the college is going to play a big part of it.
You know, I read an article not too long ago, Doug, that talked about the community college, its mission in regards to economic development, and one of the things that they said in that article is the community college is part of the DNA of economic development. So really, this may just be a precursor to other things that we look at in expanding with economic development within the area, and how the community college, and especially Yavapai College, plays a part in that, because we've been able to do some phenomenal things. And we're just getting started. You know, as we look at partnerships with the University of Arizona for transfer for our students, or we look at specified custom training for growers here in doing a variety of things, and even doing some small research with some varieties that aren't grown here right now to see how they do, so that we can then transfer that knowledge onto the industry.
You know, and one of the things that I know you're developing, really excited about, is the Southwest Wine Center. Talk a little bit about the concept and where you guys see that going.
You bet. So the Southwest Wine Center is going to be a full teaching winery. So the intent is really, from an educational purpose, to give students the skills and competencies they need to put them to work. And really, you know, the way that you do that is hands-on or experiential education. So within the curriculum is built-in practicums for each student. And so in the viticulture piece, you have 3 separate practicums that are each seasonal, because within the vineyards, different things happen during different seasons. So we've set that up so not only do we teach within the class and demonstrate, but then they get real-world experience. And really, for the enology or the winemaking piece, the Southwest Wine Center allows us to do that. Again, a full-on functioning winery that can contribute to the economic development piece within the communities, while providing an education for that workforce. So it's really a neat concept. We're about, this is a $3 million project if we take the vineyards and the Southwest Wine Center. And up to date, we've, I think we're close to around $900,000 that the Yavapai College Foundation has raised for that project. Now, the intent is that the foundation will raise about $1.5 million, at which point the institution then will contribute the other $1.5 million to break ground on that facility. I have to say that we've had great support, not only from the Prescott Foundation, but really from the Greater Verde Valley Foundation, which is kind of a wing of the foundation, in focusing on fundraising for this facility. So our hope, again, our hope is to have a completed facility by fall of 2014.
Wow. Well, that's good to hear, and that's a pretty quick timeline too. So, and when you talked about the vineyards, I know you have what, about 4 acres planted currently? We
have 1 acre that's very close to campus, which was put in by Merkin Vineyards. And on the onset, we're able to use that for educational purposes, but we don't own the vines. Right. Last year, we established 3 acres of vines right around May 5th time period, which was the plant-a-vine function that we had. This year slotted an additional 3 acres, and that'll take place on May 4th. On May 4th. So I'd like to invite everybody out for Plant-A-Vine on May 4th at the Verde Valley campus. If you'd like to help, we could sure use all the help we can, because that equates to about 3,000 vines that have to go in the ground within a series of days. In the plans right now is an additional 5 acres next year, and then we'll finish out the 17 acres with 6 acres in 14-15.
Let's go ahead and take another break, and I want to come back and talk about that a little bit more and the great experience you had last year with the planting. So come back and join us.
Having a fire escape plan is very important to keep your family safe and together in the event of a fire. When you awake to the sound of a smoke detector and smoke in your room, don't stand straight up. Carefully roll off your bed and stay low under the smoke. If your door is shut, feel the door with the back of your hand. Slowly open the door if no heat is felt. Always stay low until you get to the outside of your home. Always have 2 ways out of your house and a specified meeting place somewhere outside your home. Home escape plans should be drawn up and rehearsed on a regular basis. This could be the difference between life and death if caught in a fire.
Welcome back to Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host, Doug Bartosh, and I'm here again with our guest, James Perry from the Yavapai College Verde campus. I'm getting old. I can't remember things from one minute to the next. Anyway, we're talking about the college campus here in the Verde Valley and the Southwest Wine Center. And James mentioned that they're planning, you said 3 more acres?
3 more acres.
3 more acres. And what's the date on that again?
May 4th.
And any idea of what the times are going to be yet?
I would probably start pretty early in the morning because the temperatures will start to heat up. But I'm gonna, we haven't, don't have an itinerary set yet. But I'm gonna propose somewhere around 8 o'clock till 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
So May 4th. Get your gardening gloves on and your shoes and your sunscreen and hat and come on out and help plant. They had a great response last year from the community, and it's just really a beautiful thing to see. So we wish you a lot of luck with that, and I'll certainly see you out this year.
You bet.
Planting some grapes. But the other thing that I wanted to talk about, because I'm real proud of it, is, and probably one of the first projects you and I worked together on was our reclaimed water line that we're going to install to water the vineyards. And everybody knows that water and reuse of water is a significant issue here in the Verde Valley, and we've got to just reuse water as much as we can. And I think we both recognized that how important it would be to get reclaimed water from our treatment plant up on Mingus to the vineyard so that you guys could water with reclaimed water. And again, I think it's important to let our guests know that this is grade A plus effluent, which is acceptable for edible crops. And so with that, talk a little bit about that and how important this is to the Southwest Wine Center.
When we look at design of programs and things like that, what really is neat about this particular program and some of the things we're doing on the college is really that sustainability piece, not only in the possibility of our Southwest Wine Center being LEED certified and very efficient, but really, all facets, including, usage of water for the vines. And we were very fortunate that originally we were talking to the town of Clarkdale about doing a partnership with them, and really, my understanding is they knew that you guys had the ability to possibly do reclaimed water, and what a unique opportunity. So it wasn't about us, them, but it was about what is best for this area in regards to water. And again, just another instance of a fantastic partnership and really looking at leveraging resources and what benefits all within the community was the initial talks, and then now the agreement between Yavapai College and the town of Cottonwood to go ahead and install a reclaimed water line that will provide enough water for the entire 17 acres of vineyards. You know, it's again, you know, foresight on the part of Cottonwood to look at how we're going to reuse that water, and again, you know, instilling that piece within our curriculum is important, and then again, just the actual use of reusing water, because like you said, it's a valuable resource, and we can't afford to just squander it.
You know, and I think for our viewers, it's important to know that we recapture probably about 70% of the water we provide to our community. And so we're producing somewhere around, you know, 800,000 gallons of reclaimed every day. We've got to find a way to reuse that. We can't just, you know, let it evaporate down the washes or you know, things that just aren't reusing it. So this is a great opportunity, and I think it really, I don't know if there's another vineyard or viticulture program across the country that uses reclaim to water their vineyards, but I think we're really establishing some pretty new ground here.
I think we are, and again, you know, it's best if you can do these things on the front end when you install, when you do things. Especially even from a cost perspective, I don't know of any other community college program that is doing something like this.
Well, it's exciting, and again, just a great example of the partnership that exists with the college and all the communities here in the region. One other thing, and we're running out of time quickly, but I think it really deserves mentioning, because we recently talked about a what's the name of it? The cooking program. Culinary program. Talk a little bit about that, because that's an exciting opportunity as well.
You bet. As we look at program development and what fits very nicely with viticulture and enology, we look at kind of offshoots for the areas. And two things that come to mind that we're exploring right now is a possibility of culinary, which again pairs, for lack of a better word, a pun, pairs very nicely with viticulture and enology, but also hospitality. And again, how does that play into the economic development of the county as a whole in training people for those jobs and those industries? And really, not only does it help us in enrollment, but again, it helps drive bringing people here for jobs. So those are two things that we're kind of looking at. We're excited. There's you know, quite a bit of money involved in starting up a culinary program, but it's definitely something that's on our radar.
You know, and again, I think that shows the regionalism. Certainly our partners up in Sedona have done a great job of creating a tourist industry here. And we all agree that if we can provide more opportunity around the Verde Valley for those tourists, they'll stay here a little bit longer and spend some more dollars. And I think the other important thing about tourism is it gets people to see what a wonderful place we live in. And so they come back to buy a second home, to live here, to move their business here. And so again, it's all about economic development, and it's kind of interesting to see how all these pieces fit together.
Yep, it's an exciting time to be at Yavapai College, and it's an exciting time for the Verde campus.
Yep, I agree. Well, James, I don't think this will be the last time we have you on the show, because there's always a lot of interesting things going on up at the campus, and we'd love to share that with the Verde Valley communities so that they take advantage of what a great resource the college is. So thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Great to hear about the campus. And come back again and join us soon on Inside Cottonwood. Thank you.